Hi, my friends. Welcome back to my podcast. My name is Pranvera Bardhoshi, and I'm happy you're here with me today. Today, I want to talk about something that I think every one of us needs to hear sometimes. And that is, don't give up on yourself. Because life can become really stressful sometimes. Some days are easy, and some days feel like everything is happening at the same time, like we're doing everything wrong. We have responsibilities, we have family, work, we have dreams, things we're worried about. We all have things that we're trying to accomplish, and sometimes it's not even one big thing. Sometimes it's 100 little things, which makes it more complicated. One thing happens, then another thing happens, and then another thing, and suddenly we feel overwhelmed. And you get to a point where you think, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Maybe you have had a day like that. I know I've had days like that. Maybe you have had a week like that. Or maybe you're going through one right now. And sometimes when we're exhausted, we don't just want to take a break. We start thinking about giving up. Giving up on a dream, giving up on something we've been working towards, giving up on ourselves. And I want to tell you something today. You are allowed to have those moments. We all are allowed to have those moments. We're all allowed to have a day when we're tired. Remember, you're allowed to cry and to say, I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay to feel overwhelmed and to take a step back. But please don't make a permanent decision based on a temporary moment, because the way you feel today is not necessarily the way you're going to feel tomorrow. Maybe it's going to be one day when you're going to say to yourself, remember, I was almost giving up on everything. And look how wonderful life is today. Sometimes we make decisions about our entire future when we're simply exhausted from today. And that's why I think we have to learn how to pause, not to give up. Just pause and take a breath. Sleep on it. Go outside. Take a walk. Talk to somebody. Pray. Do whatever brings you back to yourself. For me personally, one of the biggest things I have is my faith. I believe in God. And when things become too heavy for me, one of the things I do is pray. I pray every day. But we all tend to pray more when things are not easy. Just do whatever brings you back to yourself. My prayer isn't complicated at all. Sometimes I just say, God, I'm handing this to you. That's it. God, I'm handing it to you. My stress, my anxiety, my worries, my fears and my family, my dreams, my desires, my success, the things I want, the things I don't understand, everything, I'm handing it to you, God. And I just leave it in the God's hands. Because sometimes I realize that I'm trying so hard to control things that I was never really able to control in the first place. And maybe you have experienced that too. You want something so badly, you prayed for it, you worked for it, you think about it, you imagine your life once you have it, and you are convinced this is what I need. But then it doesn't happen. And you are disappointed. You wonder why. You ask, why isn't this happening for me? What am I doing wrong? Why can I not make this happen? But maybe sometimes the thing we're asking for isn't actually the best thing for us. That's a difficult thought, because when we want something, we believe we know what's going to make us happy, but we don't know everything. We only see today. We don't see what's coming next year. We don't see what's behind the door that didn't open. We don't know what would have happened if we had gotten exactly what we asked for. And that's where faith comes in for me. I can say, God, I want this. I really want this. I'm going to work for it. I'm going to do my prayer. I'm going to pray for it. But at the end of the day, I hand it to you because you know what I don't know. And there is something very peaceful about that. It doesn't mean I stop working, or it doesn't mean I stop dreaming. Also, I'm not going to sit back and expect everything to happen. No, I still have to take steps. I still have to work to show up, but I don't have to carry the entire weight of the outcome on my shoulders. And that makes a difference. Sometimes we think we have to control everything. We want to know exactly how everything is going to work out. We want to know what the next chapter looks like. But life doesn't give us that information. Maybe we're only supposed to take the next step, not the next 100 steps. Just the next one, step by step. Another thing that helps when I am overwhelmed is nature. I love walking, especially when I have a lot on my mind. Sometimes I just need to get outside, walk, and take a fresh breath of air. When I'm stressed, I like to go for a walk and sweat it out. Sometimes I don't even listen to anything. I just walk and look around. Trees, the sky, the water, the wind, the birds, the little things happening around me. And something changes. The problem might still be there, but I feel different about it. And that's all we need. The problem doesn't have to disappear immediately. We just need to become strong enough to face it and accept that there is a problem. And we will do what it is in our power to solve it. But we cannot get crazy about it. Because if we get crazy about it, it's only going to be more complicated and we're going to be more stressed out. So there are moments when I stop and pray, and I'll sit somewhere quietly and just talk to God. Not necessarily with some perfect prayer, just honestly. And I tell God what's bothering me. What am I afraid of? And what I'm hoping for. I am honest. I tell what's hurting. I ask for ability to understand things. And I think there is something beautiful about being able to say everything that's in your heart without having to pretend. You don't have to make yourself sound strong when you're praying. You can be honest. You can say, I am tired and scared. I don't know what to do. Please guide me. And then let it go. Hand it over. Because we pray, but then 5 minutes later, we're picking the worry back up again. We say, God, I'm giving this to you. And then we start worrying about it again. And I understand that. I'm human too. But I try to remind myself, I already handed this over. I don't have to keep carrying it. And I think that's something many of us need. We need something bigger than ourselves to believe in, something that gives us hope we don't have all the answers. For me, that's God. That's where I find my light, and that's where I find my comfort. That's where I find companionship. And that's where I remind myself that I am not alone. No, I'm not here to tell you that everyone has to believe exactly the way I believe. I'm simply sharing what gives me strength because I see so many people struggling. I see so much stress and so much anxiety, so much loneliness. And that makes me sad. We are living in a strange time. We're more connected through technology than ever, but so many people feel disconnected in real life. I've talked about this actually in the other podcasts. We can have hundreds or thousands of people on social media and still feel like we don't have anyone to call. You can spend hours looking at other people's lives and forget to actually live our own. And I think that's dangerous. Seriously. We need real conversation. We need real connection and friendship. We need to sit with people and talk to each other face to face. And we need to be genuinely asking, how are you doing? And to hear the answer, not to just say, because sometimes a person doesn't need you to solve their life. They just need to know they are not alone. And there has been moments in my life that I really wanted someone just to say, how are you? And listen to my answer. Yes, there's people who ask me how I was, but nobody really listened to my answer. Nobody really saw the pain behind the answer. And we all have moments in life like that. That's how life is. The person doesn't need you to solve their problems, as I said, but they just need to know that they are not alone. And there's simple acts that can show that to them just by being compassionate and listening. And if you're listening to me right now and you're going through something difficult, I want you to hear this very clearly. Don't give up on yourself. You might not know how everything is going to work out. That's okay. You don't need to know. Maybe your life isn't where you thought it would be. Maybe something you wanted didn't happen and you're disappointed and tired. You're starting over and you're afraid. But none of that means your story is over. That only means you're in a difficult chapter. And difficult chapters are still chapters. They are not the entire book. Sometimes we forget that. We look at what's happening right now and think, this is my life. No, this is part of your life. There is more. There are people you haven't met yet, places you haven't seen, things you haven't learned, moments you haven't experienced, dreams you haven't even imagined yet. So don't decide that your story is over because one chapter is difficult. Keep going. And if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, take one small step, but don't ever give up. Tomorrow, try again. And if tomorrow is difficult too, try again the next day. There's no shame in starting over, needing help, or asking for help. There's no shame in taking a break. We're human beings. We're meant to carry everything alone. And for me, faith reminds me of that. When I don't know what to do, I pray. When I'm afraid and when I'm grateful, when sometimes things don't work out, or when something beautiful happens, I pray. And sometimes my prayer is simple. God, I don't understand this, but I trust you. I'm handing it to you. Please guide me. And then I keep moving. That's the important part. Faith doesn't mean we stop walking. We pray and then we take the next step. We trust and then we do our part. We hope and then we keep going. So if you're listening to this today and life feels heavy, take a breath, go outside, take a walk, or call someone you trust and talk about it. Or maybe just sit quietly and pray, and then tell God exactly what's on your heart. Give Him your worries, give Him your fears, give Him the things you want so badly. Give Him your family that you love so much, give Him your future, and then remind yourself, I don't have to figure everything out today. You only have to get through today. And tomorrow you will deal with tomorrow. One day at a time. One step at a time. And please remember something. You are more than the difficult moment you are experiencing. You're more than your failures, more than your disappointments, more than the things that didn't work out, more than what other people think about you. You are still here. And as long as you're here, there is still possibilities. There is still hope. There is still another morning. There is still another opportunity to begin again. So don't give up on yourself, my friend. Not today. Maybe you need to rest. Maybe you need to cry. And that's okay. Maybe you need to change direction. Maybe you need to change direction or ask for help. Maybe you need to pray, but don't give up. Hand over what you cannot control. Do what you can with what you have. Trust that you don't have to know the entire road and keep walking, because sometimes we don't understand why one door closed until much later. Sometimes we don't understand why something didn't happen until something better comes in our lives. What we thought was disappointment turns out to be protection. And sometimes the answer to our prayer isn't what we expected. But maybe that's the beauty of faith. We don't have to know everything. We just have to trust enough to keep going. So, my friend, wherever you are now, I hope you take one more breath. I hope you take one more step and give yourself another chance. And if you believe in God, I hope you can say tonight, God, I hand it all to you. Guide me, give me strength, and help me keep going. And then keep going. Thank you for being here with me today. And until next time, take care of yourself, take care of your heart, and remember, your story isn't over. You're still writing it. Love and peace to all of you and to the world.